I was wondering how spirits can influence that early on in a soul sort of splitting, how they can, before you've even incarnated, how a spirit can influence that early on. What attracts that?
Remember, this soul incarnates at conception. The problem is for most people on earth is that the parents of this particular soul, which was the two bodies were created for at conception, the problem for them is that very many times the parents have a number of emotional injuries before they have the child. Now, if we had no emotional injuries before we had a child, then it's very highly unlikely that any spirit would ever be able to influence the child at all. But unfortunately, for all of us here on earth, that's not the case. And there are times, in fact, where the child can be overcloaked while they're in the womb of the mother, even. And that is created by the openings of both the mother and the father, allowing this particular thing to occur. And this is why we get many child-onset diseases. Childhood-based onset diseases usually are caused, or many of them are caused, through the process of a spirit being involved with the child right at the time of birth or even earlier. Yeah. And again, you could think of it, that is the parents using their will to not clear away their emotional baggage. So by the time they have their child, the child is affected by the baggage of the parents. And that's why in the Bible it's meant, you hear the term, that the error of the father gets passed down to the son and so forth through many generations. And that's why it happens, is because we don't clear many times our false beliefs and the results of our own unloving behaviour. And so our child begins to absorb that and absorb the consequences of that right from the time of conception. So you can see that if we truly loved our children, we would be very focused on healing our own emotional injuries even before we had children. Yeah. And in fact, we have the capacity on earth to have released all of our emotional injuries to the point where every single child is born free of any emotional impediments and free of any physical ailments or sickness. And we have that ability on earth, but we don't engage it, mostly because we're afraid of dealing with our emotions. Yeah? But that's the process.